Welcome back to this video series on writing a Sudoku solver in Java. In this video, we will be looking at how to load the puzzle from a file rather than having to type it in. So first, we need some puzzles, and so if you just Google Sudoku text files, this very first thing, Sudoku page. This is from a someplace in Finland, University of Vasa, and they have a whole bunch of Sudoku puzzles. In fact, if you just click on like S01A, okay, now you'll notice that we have, it's in our same format with zeros, but it's not separated by commas. So let's go ahead and start by just saving this text file. So you're going to want to save this file into the same folder as our code. I'm just going to right click and save as, and then I'm going to put that into my my repository. I remember where I put my repository. There we go. So right here, I'm just going to save s01a.txt. All right, so now if I go back into Visual Studio Code, I should see s01a.txt, and so there is our puzzle. Okay, so the idea here is we want to be able to load that into a board. We want to load that into a board. Now remember, here we have, in our Sudoku tester, we have this board. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to make a separate class that's going to handle loading the file, I think. I may be overcomplicating it. Yeah, that may be overcomplicating it. I think actually what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and in our tester here, we'll go ahead and just for now, because for now we're just going to load the text file. In the next video, we're going to load it from the website itself, because why not? So we're going to need to use, well, you go ahead and use a something called a string buffer. Yeah. So go ahead and create a, I'll go here, and I'm going to say Java read from text file. And so different ways for reading text file. Now, we've already seen the scanner before, but I want to show you some other things. So there's this thing called a buffered reader. And what a buffered reader does, it lets us basically read in from a file. And we can read in like a line at a time, essentially. Okay. So that's where we're going to go with this. Use a buffered reader instead of a scanner. Okay, we've done a scanner. Let's look at a buffered reader. So yeah, so think that what I actually want to do, like I said, let's go ahead and make a new class. Let's go ahead and make a new class. So I'm going to make a new class here. I'm going to call this Sudoku board. And it's going to need to import java.io.bufferedreader. I don't know why that didn't autocomplete for me there. Buffered reader, I want to do that. There we go. Public Sudoku board. It's going to have one private matrix called board. Cool. How about public class? There we go. And we'll make our constructor public Sudoku board, and it's just going to initialize board to be a new array of integers, and there we go. Okay. And so the first thing we're going to do inside of the Sudoku board class is we'll write a read from file method. And then, like I say, in the next video, we'll do a read from URL method. So, okay, read from file. So I'm going to do a public void read from file. And it's going to take in a string, which is the file name. Why are you doing weird things? There we go. Okay. And so we'll just do nothing there. And then we will do, just to make, so for our tester here, if we think about it, right, our board is this 2D array. So we'll do like we'll do a get board. So public int get board, and then we'll just return board. Okay, so that means we should be able to like pass the board in. All right, so read from file. Well, first I guess we need a buffered reader. So we'll say buffered reader equals new buffered reader. Now if we go back to this website, it's expecting we can give it a file reader. Okay. So we'll say new file reader. And that actually we need a file. We need a file. So I'm going to say file equals new file name. Now at this point, when you'll notice we get a lot of errors here, right? We have to import, right? And then file reader, I'm going to have to import. Okay. Now this actually is going to, this could cause an error, and so we need to give it this. Cool. All right. And now I'm going to do a file.close. And this is where we get this warning, and it's going to say, hey, wait, ignore that. I can't do a file.close. I'm confused. Okay. So this is giving us a warning because we're not, it's possible that we won't find this exception. So we'll go ahead and do a throws declaration. And there's going to be another one that we're going to get here in a minute. So it's possible that that file isn't found, and so we have to make sure that we have this files not found exception. Okay, so we have our reader. And so going back to here, we want to read in, and notice it can only read in a whole line at a time. That's kind of what we want, right? Kind of want that anyway. So I'm going to say, I'm going to do the same thing, string st, and then I'm just going to copy this. So while, think about this is saying while st equals reader dot read line not equals null. So let's see what's happening here. So st equals reader dot read line. So this is going to read in a value and assign it to st, and then it's saying if that's not null, so in other words it read something, let's go and have a print. Okay. And so I got an extra, what am I missing here? There's no curly brace there. Cool. Reader.readline, IO exception. So we need to add another throws. So it's going to throw this IO exception. So IO exception is more generic. It can be, can also cover files not found, but it's just more generic. So we don't actually need this anymore. Okay. And we need to make sure we close this reader. So at the end, we'll say reader.close. And there we go. So at this point, we should be able to go back into our tester. We will instantiate a Sudoku board, and then we'll try to read from file. just to see what it does. Okay. So right here, I'm just going to go and comment this all out right now. In fact, now that I think about it, I'm not going to mess with this right now. I'm going to stay with my board. I'm going to write a main method right here. So public static void main string args. Cool. And I'm going to say okay, cool. So inside of here, we're going to make a new Sudoku board. So Sudoku board B equals new Sudoku board. And then I'm just gonna try B dot read from file. I'm gonna give it our file name, which is s01a.txt. Now this, remember, this read from file can actually cause an error, so we have to try to read from file, and then we'll catch. I'm just going to catch a general exception E, and I'm just going to tell it to, just in case there's an error, I'm going to have a print E. All right, so now if we compile this and we run our Sudoku board, there we go. Okay, so that's enough for this video. We have it reading in from a file for right now. Of course, it's not actually outputting what we want yet, but that's a start. So next time we will get this, hopefully get this method finished and test it out with our solver and see if we can get some more boards solved. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.